Comrades of Western St. Thomas, it is a great honor and a pleasure to I, Mark Jefferson Golding, President of the People's National Party, to present to you, the comrades of Western St. Thomas, your candidate for the next general elections to come in Jamaica. And I give to you, Hubert Ryan Williams. Power to the people. Power to the people.
Thank you, Comrade Leader. Congratulations, Comrade Hubert. One verse from Jamaica Rise, and then I call up some young men who are from this constituency to ensure that they close out the Saturday's proceedings. One verse of Jamaica Rise to close the meeting officially.
You know, people, you've heard from a member of parliament. He's a man of courage. He's a man of intelligence. He's a man with plans for Western St. Thomas. He has the skill set from his educational background, from his political experience as a councillor, to deliver real solutions for the people of St. Thomas. He wants to use agriculture as an economic vehicle to help the farmers, whether it be the coffee farmers up on the hills or the onion farmers on the plains, whether it be the issue of water, whether it be the issue of the price of the crops, whether it be the issue of the permits that certain people bring in competing crops to undermine the economics for our farmers in St. Thomas, and they end up suffering because other men who have the permits through friend and company bring in the goods and the market collapse, and then you hear what the man say, what happened next? He wants to make sure that the entertainment sector, which is so vital to St. Thomas, the round robin, the fish fry, even the setup them, can run the right way. And the next People's National Party government is identifying the creative and the cultural industries as a vehicle for growth in this country. And it starts with the grassroots entertainment sector, of which he spoke. Right now we have a system where some little arbitrary thing can play, and people can find that them party get locked down and they don't have no justice in it. And the system for getting the permits is not transparent. And so it's a system of abuse. We want to change that as the next People's National Party government. We want to make sure everybody knows where they stand and how they can get their permit. And it's accessible and it's fair and just in how it's delivered. Because the economy of the people of St. Thomas, it will benefit tremendously from being able to enjoy that sector growing and flourishing the way it should. In our budget presentation last week, we presented a series of proposals as to how we want to take Jamaica forward. It must be grounded in ethics. That means righteousness in how we deal with each other, inspired by God. Too much corruption in the country. And you in Western St. Thomas know a lot about that because you've been experiencing under the regime in which you have been held. Comrades and friends, it's time to get rid of those things from our politics in the country. It's time to ensure that the people can have trust and confidence in the leadership of the country. That the resources of the people entrusted to the elected officials are used for the benefit of the people and people only, and not for friend and company. So ethics is a critical part of the next PNP government, and we're going to work with the churches, and we're going to work with civil society to roll out a values and attitudes program, not directed by us as the politicians, but by the wise heads who everybody knows don't really partial when it comes to politics, and they're just thinking about the people of Jamaica, and they can see this as a progressive movement to a better place in terms of values and attitudes in the country. Comrades, the housing situation in Jamaica is in a very bad place. Affordable housing is not accessible to the people. There has been a construction boom, but the houses that have been built are houses way out of reach of the ordinary Jamaicans, civil servants, public servants, and ordinary Jamaicans. We are going to change that. We are going to repurpose the National Housing Trust, bring it back to the vision of Michael Joshua Manley, who founded it in the 1970s, to be an agency to empower people to own their homes. We're going to recapitalize the National Housing Trust with public lands that are available and allow those to be developed as affordable housing. And we will make sure the price is affordable to the people, because we won't charge the people for the land value in the house. That will give them a better deal. So when they buy a house, they immediately have equity in the house, because the land portion of the price and they have to pay for that. We have a system in place, or in mind, to put in place in the housing trust for public sector workers. We're going to give them back the interest rate reduction that this government took from them. For the lowest band of borrowers who earn less than $30,000 or less a month, we're going to take out the insurance cost out of the monthly payment, because insurance has been going up and making it more and more difficult for them to manage. We are going to take that off of them and remove that burden. We're going to take $1 billion of the resources of the National Housing Trust and make it available as a deposit fund to help the first-time buyers up to 35 years old who have been contributing for 2 years to the trust to get a $500,000 grant towards a deposit so they can pay down on a house. Because we know that that is a big hurdle to home ownership in the country. We have the rent-to-own plan. If you're a person who is employed in the informal economy, you have a little business, a little hustling, and you don't have a pay slip, and you can't go into the NHT and establish your monthly income in a documented way, we will say, all right, you want this house that we have in our portfolio for sale. You can go in there and rent it for a period of time. And once you've established that you can make the monthly payments, which are the same as the mortgage payments, we will flip it and make sure that you can borrow that mortgage and buy that house. We want to empower people who are not presently able to access mortgages. And for those who are not earning enough to save for a deposit, and they don't fall within the 35 and under bracket, but they well want them house, we will allow them to go into the house as a tenant, and then a portion of their rent will go towards the deposit fund. And once the deposit fund reaches the necessary amount, they will pay down their deposit, they can draw down the mortgage and buy the house and become an owner of their own house. That is the kind of planning we have for the people of Jamaica. So comrades, when it comes to labor relations, this contract work device that is out there in the economy, sometimes it is being used in an abusive way to keep people on recurring short-term contracts, and they can't get any benefits under the employment law. They can't get holiday pay when they get tech leave. They don't have several of the benefits that proper employees under the law of the land are supposed to have. We are going to bring legislation to end that and ensure that all workers who are really employees of the country, whatever the contractual device that their employer may use, must be treated as an employee and have their full rights that we have struggled for over the centuries to make sure that every Jamaican worker should have. So the next PNP government is it's going to be a government of liberation for the people. It's going to be a government of empowerment for the people. It is going to be a government of upliftment for the people. Julian spoke about our education policy and our training policy, because we want to have our people as productive as possible so we can attract the investment with better high-tech, better paid jobs. Because right now, although unemployment is low, hunger is all over the land. 55% of Jamaicans are suffering from moderate or severe food insecurity. That means they're not getting the right diet. That's why we have so much pressure and sugar and so much stroke in Jamaica. People not eating the right food because they can't afford it. So we need a total revolution in how we deal with all of these things and put Jamaica on the right path forward. We are the ones who brought the solutions that have enabled the public debt in this country to come from the high level it once was, where the country was on the edge of financial collapse, down now to where it is today, where the public debt is no longer such a frightening thing, but we know how to manage it. But this Labour Party government, they can't take it to the next level. They've had 9 years. The Prime Minister himself has been the Minister of Economic Growth and Job Creation. The jobs he's created, he himself admitted, are marginal jobs which leave people on the edge of poverty. And there's been no economic growth. The man has been a failure in his portfolio and a failure as leader of the country because he does not know what it takes to move the country forward. We are going to sort out the bureaucracy of the country and make sure the system is efficient and user-friendly and get rid of the rules that are out of date and frustrate people and the processes that no longer fit for purpose and get in the way of progress. We will fix those things. I am going to chair the task force with responsibility for that. I'm going to chair it myself because I have the skill set to make that happen. So people, it's important that we get enumerated if we're not on the voters list and we're mind to vote for the PNP. If you know anybody out there who's a PNP-minded person who tells you, yeah, they like marketing and they love the plans and they love the team and they think we can deliver for Jamaica and they're not on the voters list, please make sure they get enumerated by next week, Monday, so that they can be on the voters list that will be published at the end of May, because there's a good chance that that will be the voters list that will vote on in the next election. And comrades and friends, Hubert Ryan Williams is stepping forward as your candidate in the next general elections. We know the opponents you're up against. We know the way he plays his politics. But what? We are the People's National Party workers and warriors, and we will stand firm and deliver the victory for the People's National Party. After so many years, this is the time. We can do it, comrades. Are you ready? I want to hear from you. Are you ready? Are you ready for the People's National Party? Are you ready for the victory in the next election? You sound like you're ready, and we are ready. So let us march forward together. Time come, comrades. Time come. Victory is ours. God bless you all. I have one more task for the proceedings tonight. And this is a formality, but it is an important formality.
What shall it be? My home one is my member of parliament.
Question. Are you ready? You ready? Final question and the presentation by the current leader. Big up again, Educate Aid and all the team that helped us with the tablets. What year did Mark Jefferson Golden become the president of the People's National Party? What year? What year did current leader become the leader of the party? Not you. Disqualified. Come, George, identify somebody. See some people are here. No? What year did Mark Jefferson Golden's job? People all over this. Look around, look around. What year did Mark Jefferson Golden become president of the People's National Party? our leader said that one shirt lady they get it now.
2020.
What's her name? Which year?
2020.
What name I hear?
Janice. Friendshiping.
Alright, former leader, please present to her.
Unfortunately, give us your name and your position. And as I was saying before, we are in the election mode right now. What are the highlights, high points you have for Jamaica, and anything in particular for St. Thomas?
Well, sure. Julian Robinson, Member of Parliament and Opposition Spokesman on Finance. Well, I'm really here to support the candidate for Western St. Thomas, Hubert Williams, and our part of our plan is rural development and in particular agriculture. And we're really here to support rural farmers. Farming is the backbone of our economy. We're going to invest more in research and development so that farmers can have better techniques, they can get the support so they can know when to plant, how to plant. We're going to invest more in improving access to funding for farmers. One of the biggest issues with farmers is that they have difficulty accessing finance. So we're going to do more to make it easier for farmers to access finance. But overall, our plan is to improve farming so we can improve rural development and lift the quality of life for all Jamaicans. I want to say something on the state of the public sector, and in particular, I'm sensing a high level of restiveness among public sector unions. And that stems primarily from an agreement that was signed between the government and the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions for the payment of outstanding increments as of April 1st. And the unions have put the government on notice that if those payments are not made, we may have industrial action. So I want to make an appeal to the government and in particular to the Minister of Finance that those payments must be made, or else we may go into a situation where come the beginning of April we have industrial action on our side. One of the main issues the unions have is that the government commits to something and then doesn't follow through. And in this particular case, there is an agreement signed with the Confederation and they expect the payments as of April 1st. The minister said that monies have been budgeted for in the upcoming budget. So I'm appealing to the government, ensure that those payments are made on time so that the public sector doesn't suffer from industrial action.
Is there a particular section of the public sector?
Well, there was a notice sent out by the president of the Jamaica Civil Service Association because there were supposed to be meetings which have been put off. No new dates have been set for those meetings. And they have indicated that if those meetings are not held and the agreements not upheld, we may have industrial action. And we don't want that. It would be severely disruptive to the entire economy because, health services, teaching services, all of those services are likely to be affected if this is not honored. So my appeal is for the government to honor it, pay these 3 years of outstanding increments so that we can have industrial harmony in the country. All right? Thank you.
I noticed you were absent from Parliament for the President's presentation.
I wasn't absent.
No man, sorry, I didn't see you.
I was there at the beginning. I actually sent a note to the Prime Minister that I had some cold and flu symptoms, but I actually came at the beginning and I told him I could not stay throughout.
Right. I'm glad you were there.
Yes.
Now, you were there, you heard this presentation. As the opposition spokesman and finance, what do you say some of the policies that he's trying to put in place or that he's trying to implement?
Well, the problem is we are 9 years into, we're almost at the end of a term. And, I struggle to deal with the credibility of new announcements, right? Dealing with efficiency. When you have had 9 years to deal with it, many of the things that have been announced are things, quite frankly, that should have been done a long time ago. And one has to question whether they're being announced because we are on the eve of an election, right? The Prime Minister is not new to this position. If you announce these things in your first year of office, you could understand that. But not when you have been at the crease for 9 years. Quite frankly, I think time is up for the Labour Party People want a new direction, they want new leadership. Mark Golden is here with a team to provide that, and we are ready to give the leadership to the country so that we can lift the quality of life for all Jamaicans, not just a few.
The proposal for the new fitness registration is here. You know the insurance last one year here.
It's not new actually.
No, what I'm asking, how did they sort out if the insurance for a vehicle for 5 years that they can license for 2 years, then for 2 years, license from an insurance company. Because they never do for a year.
No, well, there was a provision in the Act to allow for a new vehicle for the fitness, remember, just fitness now, to be valid for 5 years. Now, it's something we would support. It was a provision in the Act which is now being implemented. Because, to be honest, the fitness process has proven to be cumbersome. It is open to corruption. Whenever you have inefficiencies in any system, it facilitates corruption. And if you have a new vehicle, by and large, the issues that would arise in fitness would not be applicable to a new vehicle. So really what the Prime Minister is doing is implementing something which has been in the Act for some time.
Yes, sir, but what this question I want to find out, the insurance policy, because you know you like the vehicle. You insure this year.
For 1 year, yes.
You like for 2 years. How would that factor, how the insurance factor?
I don't think it would affect the insurance because you still have to do your yearly insurance. It's just that your fitness is valid for the first 5 years for a new vehicle. So it wouldn't impact your insurance at all.
They don't see a loophole for people to pay the insurance premium. Because they get 2 years, so I don't come back again because I'm going to renew.
Well, but if your vehicle is uninsured, then you're putting yourself and others at risk. And the authorities, if you're stopped and you're checked, then your vehicle will be taken off the road. So I mean, I don't think anybody should see this as an opportunity not to renew your insurance on an annual basis. Right? Thank you. All right, thank you.
Comrade Chairman of this evening's proceedings, comrades on the platform, I see here. Come to that. Comrade, next Minister of Finance, Julian J. Robert Robinson. Comrade Philip Fianna Paulwell, a St. Thomas man. Born.
St. Thomas, pleased to make welcome Jamaica's next prime.
It's passed on to you. We have a solution because we believe that electricity in this day and age is a right. There's no way a picnic can go to school and do well if he doesn't have electricity to do his homework and other things when he gets home. And we are going to therefore, in those communities where people cannot afford electricity, we are going to use a fuel source that God has given us. Our government brought in to not only Jamaica but the Caribbean, we brought in the use of wind energy, we brought in the use of solar energy, we use hydropower. We are going to focus on the sun because thank God the technology has improved over time so that solar is now going to be able to provide electricity in our poor communities. And we are going to be using another technology with that, batteries. Because the problem with renewables before now was that after the sun go down, or when the wind stop blow, you don't have the electricity. But with the improvement in the technology of storage, battery, you can now use the sun to provide electricity almost 24 hours in the day. We are turning our policy power to the people. We are going to make sure that you have the power now. So apart from what we're going to be doing in those inner city communities, we are going to empower you to generate your own electricity. I love when I go around the place and I see these roofs. Nothing on the roofs. We want to put solar panels on the roof. We want to enable you to generate your own electricity. And then we want to make sure that when you have enough, you can sell electricity back to the grid. So instead of JPSO charging you, you can charge JPSO for the energy that you supply. That's what we mean by power to the people. Say it for me. Power to the people. Comrades, when Sister P was Prime Minister, I spent her reminding us last night, she had wanted after the election in 2016 to make St. Thomas the first parish with 100% electrification under our rural electrification project. And we have created an agency to deliver that. And under this government, that agency has got. We are going to restore rural electrification. We are going to make sure that we are able to, in every nook and cranny of Jamaica, provide electricity for our people. Electricity is a right and not a privilege. So comrades, as we look forward to a new PNP administration with a Prime Minister in Mark Jefferson Golden, we are looking forward to greater progress. We are looking forward to greater growth in our economy. We are looking forward to giving you, in terms of energy, the power that you deserve. Comrades, good to be here. I am enjoying the feel in St. Thomas, and we are looking forward to that day when it will be Western St. Thomas, when it will be Eastern St. Thomas, and when the People's National Party will return to power again. One love.
Comrades on the platform, comrades all. It's about 10 years now I haven't given a political speech, so I forget. But who we are running against in Western St. Mary does not matter. Western St. Thomas, see, I tell you a long time in the town. In Western St. Thomas does not matter. Tonight we can say to the career of James Robertson, dust to dust, ashes to ashes. And for us to do that and then bury him, comrades, it means you have to put in the work. Because you can't finish him if you don't put in the work. So comrades, I want to ask you, how many of you listened to Comrade Julian Robinson, the party leader, in the budget speech last week? How many comrades? Okay. Well, those of you who didn't listen, it means you have to go find the YouTube, find the video, and listen. Because in those two speeches, you were armed with all the message you need to fight the labor right. And you cannot set Jamaica free if you don't fight the labor right. So comrades, we need to listen and we need to get the messages out of those two speeches that you will be able to go to every single voter in Western St. Thomas to ensure the victory of Comrade Hubert Williams whenever the elections are called. Because in hiding, you know, sometimes you hear it February, March, April, May, but comrade, it don't matter. Because you only have April, May, June, July, and August to leave. So anyone in the 5 months he wants to call it, that's up to him. We have to be ready for April, May, June, July, August, and if you want to go to 3 more days, September, free as well. But comrades, you be prepared to go any of those months that he's ready. And you go by being prepared. You have to complete the PNP list and know who will vote for PNP and who not going to vote for PNP. And you have to make sure you have more PNP than Labour right. That's how you win. And once you identify them, comrades, you are going to give them the argument. Same argument that Julian gave in Parliament and the leader gave in Parliament. You will take those words out of their mouth and you are going to argue the same words. You are going to make the comrades understand that under the Jamaican Labour Party there is no future. You will not be able to buy the house even if you put up the mortgage amount to 9 million because you won't qualify for it anyway. What comrade leader did was to plot a way that you can now go and get a house by your own honesty and willingness to pay. Even if you don't have the money yet, if you are willing to pay, there is a path for you. So comrades, it's very important that you listen to our plans for education, listen to our plans for small business, listen to our plans for transport, taking children to school. Because comrades, you hear him saying we're set up school bus by September. And he not buy bus yet. He not decide which route yet. He not decide when the bus going park at night time. Comrades, we cannot be fooled by JLP. They have been in office for 9 years. And they have done absolutely nothing. So comrades, my only thing tonight is to tell you, do your work, carry the message, and we will be able to say to Judge Robertson's career, dust to dust, ashes to ashes.
Yes, indeed. People say open, it's a rich open. Why anybody a Hubert Taylor fashion designer that the man they deserve an extra bonus partnership. That's a rich suit. But comrades, I'm moving right along.